Hi and welcome to another Tabitha's Glass Emporium YouTube video. Today we're looking at this. This is a landscape scene done with strip construction and using the reaction between French vanilla and dense white to create these lines. So this project is made up of dense white and 2 and 3 millimeter sheet glass with French vanilla over the top. And we tack use the French vanilla to the dense white at the beginning. And I don't want to do too much of that because I don't want too much scratch. So I need to try and work out how much of that sheet glass I need. So I've sort of drawn it out here, and this is like 11 centimeters, so that's 110 millimeters long. Now 3 millimeter into this, because this first section is going to be made out of this is made out of 3 millimeter. This is made out of 3 and 2 millimeter. This is made out of 2 millimeter. This is made out of 3 millimeter, and this is made out of 2 millimeter. So if I'm just going to show you how to do the first one, then you can kind of work out the rest. Taking the width, that's 110. I'm dividing it by the 3 millimeters is 36 pieces. Now they're going to be 8 millimeters high and 4 millimeters wide. So basically I need 8 millimeters. So 36 times 8 millimeters, 36, well let's say 37 times 8 millimeters means I need 29.6 centimeters of glass that is 4.5 centimeters high. So for this piece I need a piece of glass which is 26 by 4.5, and I'm probably going to say, actually, rather than doing that, let's do 15 times 9 centimeters. So I need a piece of glass which is 15 times 9 centimeters high for this piece. So just for the next piece, if you think about it, if you take your 11, divide it by 5, you're going to need 22 pieces times 8. That's sort of, so 17.6 centimeters times is about 4 centimeters. Now you need one of those at 3 millimeters and one of those at 2 millimeters, because you've done it by 5 because you need one of each. So it's sort of, and then you carry on your way up and then sort of work out what size piece it was. For me, I worked out that I needed about, and I had extra, and I wanted extra because I wasn't sure about how my strip cutting was, and I ended up sort of, a bit, but that's my offcuts from the project. So I did a bit, and I did a kind of a 15 times 15 centimeter piece of 2 and a 15 times 15 centimeter piece of 3 mil was what I ended up with for this project. But if you want to make something bigger or smaller, you need to kind of, work it out. But basically that's how you're working it out. You need to know your height of your strips, which is 8 millimeter for me, the length, and then you kind of work it out like that. So it's a little bit complicated, but if you don't want to work it out, if you do a 15 by 15 sheet of glass, 2 mil and 3 mil, put French vanilla on that, you will have some left over, but not too much. So the first thing we need to do is cut a bit of, once we've cut our dense white to the size we need, is to put it on a very light tack fuse with some French vanilla powder on it. So we're just going to get this reaction line. So I'm going to put my mask on. Want a good covering. You want to make sure that there's enough there to, you're going to get a nice reaction. So just with a tea strainer over the top, go right past the edges. And I'm wanting a good covering on this. You can see I'm picking up a whole nother, this is on a 20 by 20 centimeter square of 3 mil. That's about kind of 4 teaspoon to 4 sieve holders of the French vanilla powder on it. And I'm still going back in for a little bit more for around the edges. Okay, so then that will go in the kiln. As I say, it's going to go on very light tack fuse, and I'm going to do the same with a piece of 3 mil, slightly bigger, and give a good coating of this one too. Probably a slightly lighter coating on the 2 mil. but still making sure there is some French vanilla powder on every part of it. So just making a couple of little trees to go on the tack fuse. I want to get them pre-fused before they go on the final piece. I don't want to risk anything jumping off on them. I've just got some French vanilla stringers here that I'm using. Not quite small trees. They need to the scale of the piece is pretty small. And it's also sort of trying to work out an interesting shape, so when they full fuse onto the dense white, going to get a kind of interesting shape. So I need 3 in all. Just going to carefully lay down a few branches to get the feeling of sort of shape of 3 trees, which will then go on the light tack fuse with the powder. So once the French vanilla has been tack fused onto the dense white, I then cut it into strips. My strip cutting, I did it by eye. Don't do it by eye, do it with a ruler, because you will get the same width strips rather than me where you not so much. Anyway, let's not talk about my strips. Let's talk about this. So the first layer, we're using a 3mm, and we're putting the French vanilla side together so that you get a thicker bit of, so you get a kind of thin line of French vanilla, thicker bit of dense white, thin line of French vanilla. And then I've also I sort of sketched out here, I don't know whether you can see because of the sun, the kind of idea of the layers, and I'm going to try and kind of put it in these waves. So that's the first line. So the next line will be basically French vanilla 3mm and dense white 3mm and dense white 2mm, and they'll go together like this. So effectively in them you'll have a line of 5mm dense white. So if you think this one, you've got a line of 6mm dense white, this one you have a line of 5mm dense white, then we'll put 2mm together and have a 4mm dense white. Then we'll do 3mm like this with the French vanilla apart, so you'll have 3mm dense white, and then last of all you'll do the 2mm dense white where you'll go, the French vanilla will be apart as well. I hope this makes sense, but we're going to carry on building it now with these sort of wavy lines in the composition. So here's this level done. So this was, remembering, this is the 3mm and the 2mm with the French vanilla in together. On this layer, now we're going to do the layer with lots of 2mm, again 2mm with the French vanilla on the inside. So this is this level done, so that's the 2mm, and now we're going to do just a, sort of, if you can imagine, 3mm where you've got the French vanilla and dense white together. Really can't say vanilla. So this is the level with the 3mm, and we've now tried to make the top as kind of straight as possible, and we're going to put the 2mm on now, which is literally just 2mm in the same direction, and this will be our kind of top layer of the landscape. So this is now finished, and we've topped it with 2 pieces of dense white. Just put a bit of glue down to hold everything. Nothing shifts around. Dense white at the top. Yeah, there's a bit of a gap here, but it will all kind of fuse together. We're going to dam this before we fuse it, which I'll show you how to do in a minute. So then, just sort of thinking of the top of the landscape. Now I'm going to put a fence. I've just, with some French vanilla 1mm stringers, I've cut some bits that I can't pick up with the tweezers. So here there are some trees, there are a fence, and there's even a couple of birds, and that's you'll see them more once they full fuse together and you get the reaction of the French vanilla and the dense white. Now I want to dam this more to sort of keep its shape than anything else. Damming, I'm putting a bit of fibre paper between the edge of the glass and the dams. I am doing some dams that are pretty much the length of the glass, which is kind of miraculous, but it's just handy. Just pushing it all in together. And then this one at the top, like so. Oop. So this is now going to go in, oh sorry, on a full fuse, and we'll see how it is when it comes out. So here it is out of the kiln. I've worked the edges on my grinder. I've even given a slight bevel to this edge. You can see it's sort of a slight slope, so you can kind of see it. Your kind of options for mounting, I have these wooden stands, and you could put it in a wooden stand like so. If you like that way. I'm personally going to mount it. So we have mount board cuts, it's quite thick, and we buy it. I'm going to use this Araldite crystal clear 2-part glue. So you mix equal quantities of the glue together, and I'm just using this sort of pastry case holder so that I can just throw it away at the end, and using a toothpick, and I'm just going to mix it together for a minute. So now it's been mixed together, I really give it a really good mix for a minute. I'm going to put some glue, and this is quite a heavy piece, so I'm going to put some, oh no, okay, so I can flip it to the other side. You don't want to be doing that. Put a fair amount of the glue all over, like that. Now pick it up, quickly flip it over. I'm going to, by eye, I'm going to try and kind of put it down. Now I've been careful not to put the glue right to the edge of the piece, so that when I put it down I can then use a ruler to sort of move it around a bit. And there won't be glue marks before the glue goes off. It's a little bit higher, but it's pretty good. So then you want to be able to put it on a flat surface. This table, if I put a spirit level on it, it wouldn't be flat, it would be going at an angle. And if you kind of walk away right now, it tends to, you come back and the whole thing has slid, so you're like, oh, bam. So right now, we know that our weighing scales are totally flat, because we have to have them totally flat to weigh properly, and so I'm going to just put it on top of that and come back to it when it's dry. So here's the piece finally framed and all ready and done. I think it's really interesting. I mean, you could do this with so many different reactions. You could choose anything. You could choose a green one that reacts like spring green and put some turquoise, and do this exactly the same with a you know, a totally different reaction. I've just, you know, used the dense white and French vanilla because I like it. I mean, I don't know whether you can even see, you get this sometimes in this reaction you get a kind of slightly blue tinge, which I really like, and I'm going to try and do another project with that if I have time. But for me, I sort of love this combination. I hope you've liked this video, and if you have, please subscribe.